G'day Darkrealmers, it's horror author and illustrator Michael J. Elliott here with you again. And if you like your movies with a touch of drama, supernatural chill and mystery, you're going to love what I've got for you today, because today I'm doing a review of a movie called Firstborn. So let's get started. Okay, Darkrealmers, now this movie review came about by one of those happy accidents. I've got my Netflix list of, on my channel must watch, and I'd added this movie, and from the description I really didn't hold out much hope for it. I thought, oh, well, I'll watch it if there's nothing else really to take my fancy, and I'm so glad I did, because it is one of the best supernatural, creepy films you will likely to see. It's a little British film, so it's got not much fanfare, not a lot of Hollywood razzmatazz, promotion and everything. And I'm sorry, Dark Realmers, I did try to find the trailer for you, because there's not a lot I can say that will do it justice. And by that I mean that I can describe it to you, but you really have to see it yourself to get the full impact of the chills, okay? Now, the story concerns a young couple called James and Charlie, and they're, a young British couple, and they're planning a future, and they're pretty carefree and thinking about things for the future. Well, Charlie ends up getting pregnant, and that changes everything. So they decide they're going to be responsible parents, and they're going to get married, and they're going to set up home and everything like that. And the great thing about this movie, or one of the things that really impressed me, was how the writers and directors didn't just straight away go into the horror or the chills or whatever. We saw their relationship build and the dynamics. We felt the pressure they were under as a young married couple, struggling financially. We felt Charlie's sort of isolation, being alone in the home all day. And so it was great that we got to know them a bit better, okay? And also there's that frustration of James coming home from work, and they can't afford to go out and all that sort of thing. Well, anyway, the couple have a beautiful baby daughter called Thea, and that's when things start happening. Okay, and straight away you're going to think to yourself, yes, it's poltergeist or whatever. It's that sort of haunted house, flat, whatever. It's not the director and the writer have come up with a really clever concept for this, Darkrealmers. Now it starts off very slowly. James is in the lounge, and just cups start rattling. Nothing unusual. Then he's making a cup of coffee or tea, and they're in the bedroom with the baby. Bang! And James runs out, and he sees the kettle's exploded, the electric kettle. And of course, as we all do, logical explanation, I maybe didn't put enough water in it, or the element was faulty, something like that. So that's when we get the first clue, something isn't quite right, okay? Then we cut to where James tells Charlie, look, just get out the house, take the baby down to the park, just to get yourself some fresh air. Well, this scene is wonderfully filmed. We see the backdrop of the council flats where they live, and we get a sense of Charlie feeling sort of alone, a little bit isolated, and she's there with Thea in her pram, and she's having a cigarette. And the next thing, you've got to be quick, because the next thing you know, the playground equipment starts moving by itself, just slowly at first, and Charlie doesn't notice, and we as viewers don't really notice at first either. But then our eyes are drawn to it, and Charlie knows something's wrong. Okay, so that's the wonderful creep factor that starts coming in. Then things pick up, okay, because Charlie's in the bedroom and something attacks her. She's thrown down, she's practically strangled to death. And those incidents keep happening. They're, you know, on a regular occurrence, and they're obviously going out of their mind wondering what's happening. And when James gets attacked and they're discussing what to do, Charlie says, well, we need to get Ian. Pardon me, Darkrealmers. Now, Ian is James' father, and they don't have a good relationship. And that's obvious from the way James vehemently says, no, we're not getting him involved. And Charlie begs until finally he agrees. Now, Ian comes round and says she's a beacon. And that's, oh my God, what? And he goes on to explain that Thea actually is a beacon for supernatural forces. She's like a magnet, and she attracts them. She doesn't consciously bring them, she just attracts it, and things from the other side can come through because of her. She's like a lighthouse. And you think, oh my God. And so Ian says the first thing we have to do is protect the flat, and he paints around the door, puts salt on the door frame and so forth like that. And then he says, right, now you have to do this ritual every day, okay? You must drip red wax around Thea, okay, as close as possible without burning her. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that. You must do this, he says, okay? And the hard part is they have to do it with their eyes closed. Okay, so you can feel this tension as Charlie's, oh my God, I might burn my baby, you know. The next thing they have to do is what Ian calls his, or tells them, is depersonalising the house. Everything in the house that has a face, a picture of a face, must be gotten rid of, because that's what the forces use to home in on people through Thea. So CDs, books, pictures, paintings, and it's amazing. You don't think, you really, when you watch this, you think, oh my goodness, how much in my house would I have to get rid of to protect myself? Okay, and that's what's really great about the movie Darkrealmers, is that you see how this impacts, okay, on their lives. And Ian goes on to explain, you know, when Charlie's, why is she different? What is, and he goes on and says, it's hereditary. She got it from me. I'm her grandfather. It didn't go to James, but it's gone through, the gift has been picked up by Thea. And so that's how the premise of everything starts off, and how their life changes, because it's really well done in the fact that it's almost like you're watching a couple who have a child with an illness or a disability that needs looking after every day, but we've got a disability of the supernatural kind. Then we cut to about 4 years later when Thea's off to school, and her mother's packing her up, and she says, now what have I told you? Yes, Mum, no pictures, no drawings, and if the teacher tells you to draw a fake, no, I'm not allowed to do that, Mum says, you know, rah, rah, and everything like that. And everything seems to be going along well. Thea has learnt to do the ritual with the red wax around her every day, and speak an incantation that her grandfather's taught her. Well, things are going well, and then there's another supernatural attack. It's really violent, and they can't work out why. Then they find in Thea's bag a doll, okay? And she says, oh, I'm sorry, Mum, but they're so cool. You know, everyone at school's got one. And Charlie struggles to try and explain to her, you don't realise, you can't have it, okay? And it's just wonderful. So Charlie goes out and actually buys her a doll, a rag doll without a face, and that's it's great seeing how they try and make things as normal as possible for Thea, okay? Because these attacks are quite frightening. I mean, you know, we've seen James being thrown across the room. We've seen cups and plates fly and things like that. We've seen these supernatural beings actually choke, you know, Charlie and almost kill her. And so things are going on, and you just get that sense that they may be coping okay. But of course, Thea's just a little girl. She wants to be normal. She wants to fit in. And the next attack that happens, they can't understand why this has happened. They've done the rituals. They've done everything. Well, they find Thea's doll, and she's drawn a face on it. And of course, that acts as a magnet. And the really creepy thing about this movie, Darkrealmers, is that we don't get full-on scenes of these supernatural beings. They're just quick shots, and they're black, and they're human-looking, but they're not. There's no detail with them, okay, except the mouth, which is like a leech's mouth, but that's very quick. And so it's like these very quick, rapid-fire shots that the directors use, so that you just get a quick glimpse and then you're back to the action. And that's what's really good, because you want to see what they are. You want to see how different, how evil these creatures look, or how ghastly, but we're never given the opportunity. We're left up to our own imaginations, okay? Well, it gets to the point after another encounter where Thea draws a face on a piece of wood in the park, you know, and her mother rubs it out, that they need help, and Ian suggests they go to visit Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth is a woman who also has the gift or the curse, just like Thea, and she's learnt to protect herself, and Ian has been her sort of apprentice, or what would you call it? Not so much, and it's not a witch sort of coven relationship, but he's learned how to control his own ability through Elizabeth. And, you know, of course, the parents are very, very concerned. You know, Elizabeth, she seems a frail old woman. She has a brace, and she uses, a stick. And she appears very, very distant, very, very aloof, almost unfeeling in some ways. And of course, as parents, they're very concerned about leaving Thea with them, And she says, okay, I will help her. She said, I had to learn myself. My parents rejected me because of, I was different, so I will help this child. But the ground rule is I must do it my own way, and you are not to question my methods. And straight away we're set up with this, oh my goodness, what is she going to do? What is this woman going to do to this child? I was thinking, oh, is it something horrible? Is she going to sacrifice her or something horrible along those lines? It's nothing like that. But it is very dramatically terrifying, because one of the first things she does is get Tia to drink some tea. Now, it's a hallucinogenic tea, and it's so that Tia can see what these creatures are, and that Elizabeth can teach her how to force them away and how to protect herself, okay? And she teaches Thea how to use a branch of a hazel tree to draw a circle for protection. Now, these creatures can't get in, and there's a wonderful scene where we see Thea and Elizabeth standing in this circle, and these black creatures are all around them, snarling and trying to get into this circle, okay? And it's wonderful, because, as I said, the director uses massively quick shots. So we just see a close-up of Thea and Elizabeth, and then back to these creatures, a quick shot of their mouth, which is all round and like leech-like and horrifying, and it's very well done. It's so much action in such a short space of time, Darkrealmers, okay? And so Thea is basically learning these skills, okay? Now there's a scene where they're all having dinner together. Ian, Thea and her parents, and one of the creatures appears. Well, rather than being scared, Thea now starts muttering incantations and so forth, and makes the creature disappear. Okay, so it's wonderfully well done like that. And the story continues as this new relationship with Elizabeth and Thea grow. Okay, but it's almost like, you know, well, she's still learning. You know, this child doesn't have all the skills that Elizabeth, who's built up a lifetime, has these skills to banish these demonic creatures. And so there are more incidents, but they're all different, and they're all, it's a really good movie in the fact that it doesn't do the same thing twice. And you know, every time these creatures appears, it's maybe something different. It's not ever always the same, and you'll find that really, really enjoyable, Darkrealmers. Now, there is a dramatic twist with the relationship with Thea and Elizabeth, okay? And I can't tell you that because that directly leads into the ending, which will spoil the movie for you. But the premise of it is that Charlie takes Thea to Elizabeth and says, I can't cope anymore. I've put up with 6 years of this. You'll have to take her permanently. And Elizabeth says, I had to put up with it, you know, all my life, and I had no one to help me. I'll do it, okay? But, and that's when we build up to the dramatic ending, which is so unexpected. You know, it's just really, really well done. So that's my review of Firstborn. As I said, I'm so sorry, Darkrealmers, that I could not get the trailer for you. But the good news is you don't have to search far to find the full movie for yourself. As I said, it's on Netflix, and it is a really well done supernatural thriller, combined with great dramatic elements and great character development. And what I liked about the movie was that the writer and the director didn't favour one over the other. So it wasn't like, you know, the supernatural element took over and we stopped seeing character development. We didn't. It continued balanced, very much so. So there you go, Darkrealmers. I hope you've enjoyed my review of Firstborn. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and that's one of the things I love about doing these reviews. When you come across a little movie that's, you know, doesn't have a lot of fanfare, maybe has slipped under the radar in terms of people knowing about it, and it just blows you away with the quality. So there you go. I hope you'll enjoy that, and check it out for yourself. If you've seen it, leave us a comment and let me know what you thought of it. Okay, if it's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. And as I've always said, Darkrealmers, please subscribe to us because I've got some more movie reviews coming up for you. I've also got some creepypasta stories being put together, a whole range of stuff from the world of horror. So that's it from me, Michael J. Elliott, for this time. Okay, as I always say, Darkrealmers, stay in the light, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.